Does everything work? All right, let's see, just double checking on the one side. Where? Reload you. Let's see. I ran across some technical difficulties, which is always annoying. Oh, YouTube version's working. All right, let's get started. Hi, my name's Hattie Drago. Welcome to this week's edition of Card Game News. And we have a good amount to talk about today due to... We had the Pro Tour that just happened. That was very exciting. And we also have some card reveals from different sets, all sorts of good stuff. So let's just get started. Setting up the screen share. There we go. And if anyone joins me on the Google Hangout side, I have the chat window right up next to me, so that if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about or anything like that, we can chat up about any of anything I'm talking about or any other card game shenanigans. So before we get to the main stories, there's actually two products that were released for two different card games. First is new Weiss Schwarz support, a booster pack, or it's an extra booster pack, so it's not as big as a regular booster pack, and a trial deck based off Sword Art Online 2, which, for those of you who don't know, Sword Art Online being the MMO anime, it's about going into Gun Gale Online, which is an MMO about shooting guns, stuff like that. And it's an interesting plot, and I'm actually quite excited for this. Sword Art Online is one of my favorite anime, and if I'm able to find this product, I'll for sure be playing it. All right, and the other product is for Pokemon. It's been known, and it's not really announced. It was announced a couple months ago, but now it's starting to get into stores. Flygon EX box. It's a Pokemon box, has some Primal Clash and Furious and Phantom Force and Furious Fist packs, along with this Flygon EX, who has a pretty decent effect. Once during your turn, if this is your active Pokemon, you may have your opponent switch his or her active Pokemon, which is a very powerful ability. It will allow you to get rid of back row benched Pokemon that are creating a problem for you. And then his attack, Spiral Buzz. Flip a coin until you get tails. It does 30 more damage for each heads, which is a good effect. Like anything that has to do with coin flip, I'd rather it be this type of effect instead of damage times the amount of heads you get. So now talking about the main stuff, let's talk Pro Tour. There were no big releases when it came to Magic, but Pro Tour was all over the place. And it wasn't Jason Chung. Where are you? It keeps reloading on the wrong person. Here we go. Martin Dang from RS Denmark was the winner of Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir using a Tarkus Command red deck, which is really just red aggro using a Tarkus Command. And we'll show you that deck in a second, but it was a very exciting match. I was able to catch the finals match since I live in the Poro, USA. I didn't wake up in time for anything else. But let's take a look at the top deck lists real quick. And we had, I believe it was a good amount of control decks. We have one Green Devotion deck by Andrzej Strasky with Boon. It's a green devotion. It does have Dragon Lord Atarka, which is like the powerhouse dragon of this tournament. So it at least as in every other deck I kept seeing in the feature match area this weekend. So pretty much, it's a green ramp deck, getting out big guys. Sirach is a key card, Whisperwood Elemental being another one, and then adding a dash of red for Dragon Lord Tarkir. It's an overall cool deck. I enjoy it, and has some red in the sideboard as well with Xenagos, the Reveler. And it looks like an interesting deck, not one that I would use, but one that I appreciate. Oh, and for those of you who wanted to know, how many dragons were there in Pro Tour? Just in the feature match area and the finals, there were 114 dragons on the field throughout the weekend. And that's just in the feature match area and the finals. That doesn't include all the dragons running around in the other wings of the tournament. So that is very impressive. So next we have Adrian Sullivan's Blue-Black Control. And this is like the only control deck that I've seen that does not use any of the dragons. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's good. It's a good deck. It focused more on the Planeswalkers, I think. 2 Ashiok, 1 Lily, 2 Ugin, Crux of Fate, Drown in Sorrow being the big get-rid-overs. And then, the usual things to try to finish off the opponent. Bile-Blight, Dig Through Time. Counters, draw cards, destroy, draw cards, destroy, get rid of. And and Perilous Vault to get rid of things as well. As a win condition, it's actually very strange to me that this doesn't have a large win condition. Besides, probably Ashiok getting the opponent's cards to be able to finish the game. But it's a good control deck. Here's Martin Dang's the red aggro the deck that won the tournament, the entire shebang. It's got 4 Foundry Street Denizens, which actually I never saw him play in the finals match, but I'm sure it was a powerhouse throughout the game because it is quite a good card. 1 Frenzied Goblin, which is a very good card, and red aggro decks should be using this in general. I'm glad he is. Goblin Rabble Master, just 2 of them in the main board, and there's 2 in the sideboard, just in case he needs to bring them in. A Lightning Berserker, which everyone expected to see here. 4 Monastery Swift Spear, still the best powerhouse in red aggro, and 3 Zergo Bell Strikers, rounding up the creature lineup. And 4 Dragon Fathers, 4 Hardening Outbursts, a Target's Command, which is the key card in this deck. It is actually the card that won him the game. I mean, he had a massive advantage over Shoka during the second. That was a Firefox thing. I'm going to ignore that. But the Target's Command are what closed the game out, what won him the whole thing. And it's pretty much what the deck... Well, I mean, it's a red aggro deck, and just our Tarkir's Command in here helps out quite a bit. And then in the sideboard, more Goblin Master, Rebel Masters, Heel Cutter, Hall of Triumph, which he did bring in from the sideboard against Shoka. Scouring Sands, Eidolon the Great Rebel, which he also brought in against Shoka, and that helped him a good bit. Destructive Revelry, and some Roasting. Next is Jason Chung's Red-Green Dragons deck. This was the prime dragon deck of the tournament. I thought that blue-red dragons was going to be the biggest thing, but nope, I was incorrect. Red-Green Dragons is the big dragon deck of the tournament, and has Boon Satyr, Mana, Elvish, Goblin Rebel Master, of course, Heir of the Wilds, just to have another little guy in there, Rattleclaw Mystic for more mana, and to me, it's just a personal thing. If there's only 8 dragons, I don't consider it a dragon deck. Well, actually, it is a dragon deck. This is just me being picky. When I think dragon deck, I think most of your creatures should be dragons. But what do I know? Surak's in here. Surak's awesome, giving all your dragons haste, or all your Thunderbreaks haste. Of course, the only two dragons in here are the best dragons in here. Thunderbreak Regent and Stormbreath Dragon being both Thunderbreak being one of the powerhouse cards that right away coming out of Dragons of Tarkir was one of the most expensive dragons, and well, now he's not, but he still is like the third most expensive dragon in Dragons of Tarkir. But Stormbreath still takes the cake as one of the most expensive dragons. I believe he's tied with the Tarkir right now because of how big a Tarka's being. Nope, go away. I didn't want to click you. And then the only removal, they have 4 Creative Claws, which is, of course, has to be there for the big creatures. 1 Roast and 2 Draconic Roars. So overall, decent deck. I still think blue-red dragons are not better. I just like them more. You get to use Icefall Regent and Silumgar Score and all that kind of jazz. Anywho, here's the second place, the runner-up, the Shota Yasuoka's Blue-Black Control, which does use dragons. And I am actually quite happy about this, because I remember talking before Dragons of Tarkir even came out, and everyone was saying, oh, Dragon Lord Silumgar is decent, I don't know if it will see play or not. I was telling people, no, this card's going to see play. Blue-Black Control is going to use this card, and I was right. Clicked it again by accident. Stupid Mac. But no, this saw play. Dragon Lord Silumgar was all over this tournament, just disrupting everyone's strategies. And I actually, come to think of it, this and Ojutai, I think, were like the more used dragons that I saw during tournament play. Silumgar, Dragon Lord Silumgar, Dragon Lord Ojutai, and Dragon Lord Tarka were all over the place in this tournament. Ojutai and Tarka, I knew. Everyone knew. Silumgar was a little unexpected for some people. Not me. And then, the rest of this deck is the general list of control deck removal. The one interesting aspect being Foul Tongue Invocation, which saw a lot more play than I thought it would. But for good reason. It's an exceptionally good card. Target player sacrifices a creature. If you reveal a dragon, you gain 4 life. It lets you stabilize yourself in this deck where he is using so many dragons. And just having your opponent sacrifice a creature is astounding. And then here's Silumgar's Scorn. Like I said, good card. Counterspell is good. Next we have Marco's Abzan control deck. Most of the top 8 was control deck, which is an interesting thought that control deck has now gotten powerful enough. Like, back in Cons of Tarkir, everyone was like, oh, control deck is never going to be a thing. Oh, it's so bad. No. And now we're in Dragons of Tarkir, and control has taken up most of the top 8 list. Sure, it didn't win, but it took up most of the top 8 list. And to me, that's more important than having it be the winning deck list. I mean, yeah, sure, everyone's going to be using mono red now because it's the winning deck. And now everyone's going to be using and contributing more to control decks because of how prominent they're being. So anyways, creatures we got, Courser, Siege Rhino, and Tassiger, naturally. Planeswalkers, Elspeth, Liliana, and Ugin. Oh, here's another trend. Ugin is everywhere. I think the mono-red deck and the red-green dragons, if I'm to double-check again, yeah, we're the only 2 decks so far that aren't using Ugin. So you can tell how big of a deal he is. And, control deck having the usual controlling aspects to it, removal and whatnot. Then we got a green devotion deck from Thomas Hendricks, which has a bit of red, which goes into Dragon Lord Tarka. The big powerhouse, the big giant 7-drop 8/8 flying trampler of the entire tournament. Yeah, Arbor Colossus. This is a card I saw quite often with all the dragons running amok to take care of dragons. And anything else interesting in here? Lucranos is in here. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. I actually didn't get to see this deck played, but the Shaman's an interesting pick. Sylvan, Voyaging, Whisperwood Elemental. Yeah, nothing else too exciting or, well, not exciting, just it's the same. And then lastly, we have Andrew's blue-black control deck. And yet again, more dragons. And this time had Dragon Lord Ojutai in it, which was coming into this, I believe everyone thought was going to be the key Dragon Lord of this tournament, which it was. I mean, like I said, in a good amount of the feature matches, it was mostly Dragon Lord Ojutai popping up. For good reason. It's an exceptionally good card, and you can protect it even when it doesn't have hexproof in the colors that he is in. Then more Dragon Lord Slim Guards, more Ice Falls. More Ice Falls and Saloon Guard the Drifting Death, which is still, in my opinion, one of the best dragons in the format. Just looking at flying hexproof 3/7. But I think when Elspeth rotates out, he is going to drop down on the list of best, since Elspeth, well, actually no, he's still incredibly good. So anyways, those were the decks. All the other stuff happening at Pro Tour, there was some controversies. Before talking about the controversy I have on the screen right now, there was the Patrick Chapin fiasco, where Patrick Chapin, it had to do with Johnny's effect. He put the card that he was going to get on top of his hand before throwing it to his opponent, caused this whole big deal. The head judge came over, and he had a game loss. And that I think that started a downward spiral, because I didn't hear hide or hair of him afterwards. And you know, it's a disappointing. People of the Patrick Chapin party, and I'm a fan of his as well. But if everyone's saying nay, 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 my big problem with it was that he was trying to defend himself so much, even though everyone was on the side of, you are getting this game loss. We've seen it from every aspect. He should have just taken it. But instead, he kept trying to argue it. And, you know, it's Pro Tour. Yes, you argue for it for the sake of trying to win, which he was about to win. But you should have the decency to just take the loss and move on. So, away from that, there were 2 player disqualifications in Pro Tour, one on Friday and one on Saturday. The one on Friday was Jeremy Dasani, who was disqualified for misrepresenting the game state to judges, which pretty much was moving around the board to have it be how he wants it to sound to the judges, so that he gets the advantage of the ruling, which is what I assumed would happen. Which is a no-go, which is no-brainer, should be disqualified if you're trying to get that big of a blah. But the other disqualification, I think, is the more interesting story. I'm not sure who Stefan Speck is, but you, sir, are on my to-watch list of skimpigs. So it's manipulation of game materials, and as you can read here, he was suspiciously handling his deck, and this is the key sentence here. Speck had presented only 53 cards in his deck and had a plausible opening hand set aside, which meant that he had a hand of cards set aside, which probably would be one of his best hands against an opponent, so that he could just flat out have the biggest advantage, no randomized cards in hand, no needing to mulligan. And that is just a disgusting move. That is that is like just prime cheating number 1. He shouldn't be disqualified. He should be banned for trying stuff like that, especially in the Pro Tour. I mean, seriously. You can tell I do not like cheaters. Anyways, so I think this is the last thing I'm talking about. Yep, this is the last thing I'm talking about with Pro Tour. In one moment, the cat needs to leave. All right, sorry about that. So the last thing we'll talk about Pro Tour is the standard metagame. These were all the numbers for all the decks that showed up everywhere, not just in the feature match, but everywhere. And Red Aggro was the deck brought the most. And, you know, it won the whole tournament too. But red aggro is always a popular deck. It's always going to see play. And having it have this high a number isn't that surprising, actually. I mean, most of these decks are decks that have already existed. Red-green dragons being one exception. That having 36 of it in the tournament is great for it. Awesome. Good for you, red-green dragons. You're making a stand and creating a name. Blue-black control, Abzone control, green-white devotion, Jeskai aggro, Jeskai token, Sidisi whip. Oh, you can see the percentages over here too. Abzone mid-range, green devotion with red, which is pretty much the green devotion for a Tarka. Mardu dragons, which I have not seen a single list of that, but that sounds quite entertaining. I'm going to try to look up a deck list of that in the future. White-blue heroic was there, but was a very low percentage. Green-white aggro was a thing. Mardu and Naya mid-range were there. Oh yes, red-green bees. That was a deck that showed up a little bit. That was pretty much a deck that was dedicated to hitting your hornet nest and creating a bunch of bees. What a fascinating deck, and I'm actually quite entertained by. They have one list that's out of order in the list. Anyway, Abzone Whip, Esper Control, Jeskai Dragons, which, yay, good for you. There were people trying Jeskai Dragons. I'm happy about that. Red-white aggro, Chromantiflayer. Yes, this was actually a deck that was in the feature match area. It looked like a lot of fun, and it did seem to work out quite well. So Chromantiflayer, team go. Jeskai Ascendancy combo, which there were a couple of those in the feature match area as well. Tarka Abzan, which was... there was only 4 of these? This was like the deck that popped up the most in the feature match area. Jeez. Black-green Constellation is still a thing. Tamura is still around. Red Devotion, Rally the Ancestors deck, which was... I remember that being talked about. Oh, there's Blue-Red Dragons. There is 2 of them. I hope they did well, at the very least. White-blue control, Jund Dragons, which seems like the natural... like, considering that Jund Dragons, like, dragons were the Jund, in Jund colors for the most part back in the Lara block, this is kind of hilarious that there's only 1 Jund Dragons being attempted. But black-red aggro, blue-red control, 4-color control, Sultai control, and green devotion with blue. So one thing that I find interesting on here is that blue devotion wasn't even attempted on this list. That's 408 decks, 408 players, 408 decks, and not a single blue devotion deck was tried because that was being overhyped with Shorecrafter Elemental being a thing. But it's an interesting thought. Will it continue? Will it still be a thing in the future? Will it see play? We'll have to see. So that's all the Pro Tour shenanigans. Now for you Yu-Gi-Oh players out there, we got Yu-Gi-Oh news all over the place. First up, we have the World Superstars. I believe it's called. Yeah, the World Superstars Utopia Forever. Yu-Gi-Oh just comes up with the weirdest names, and we have just some cards. I believe these are cards that have already been in the Japan side of things. They're just now getting over to the States. We have Gagaga Sister, Gagaga Mancer, Gagaga Samurai. God damn it, Yu-Gi-Oh and your dumb names. Onomatopoeia. Oh, I get it. Onomatopoeia. Instead it's onomatopoeia. That's so dumb. And then the Door of Destiny, which is a big plot aspect of the Yu-Gi-Oh! XZ or Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeal anime. So I can't really quite read these cards because of how close up they are, but I'm sure that these are cards that have already existed in the past. But good to know that they're hitting the stateside soon. Next, we have more World Superstars things, and I know these ones are reprints from the Japan side, or reprints in general, but I am most excited about the Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon. It's just an adorable little dragon. I love dragons. They're so cute and adorable. I'm gonna draw him a hat at some point because I'm an alternate artist and it's fun. So we also have Galaxy Soldier, which will be a secret rare. Oh, and the Cloud Dragon will be a super rare. Tachyon Transmigration will be a secret rare. More Galaxy Eye support. And Photon Stream of Destruction. Thank you, Kaiba ripoff card. Being a quick play. Good for you. Photon Stream of Destruction, super rare. Seriously, that is just literally Burst Stream of Destruction. One name difference. One name. But that's just, actually, wait. Target one card on the field, banish that target. You can only activate this card during your turn, unless you control. Oh, actually, you know what? This is not a bad card. This card is actually better than Burst Stream of Destruction, which kind of makes me sad. Where has Burst Stream of Destruction gone? Anyway, we have some new cards for, let's see, this one, it is a part of the next set for Yu-Gi-Oh! Melodious support. Opera, the Melodious Diva. And this is a anime character. One of the characters from the anime uses this deck, so of course it gets more support. Can't attack during the card which it is normal summoned or flipped face up, and if it's sent to the graveyard by being used as a fusion material, you can activate the effect. Melodious monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. That's actually really awesome. I mean, I don't know what fusion monsters they have. We'll get to that. I don't know what fusion monsters Melodious have because I never really researched them. But if they have any cards that have to do with attacking, and if they're not destroyed, destroy things on the field, that would be a good combination effect to have that with. And also, it is a light-type fairy monster, so that's gotta have some use in some way, shape, or form. And next we have a fusion monster for the Red Eyes Dragon archetype called Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. I believe this is something from the anime, which is great. Hooray! Let's see, is it part of the set itself, or I can't tell what set it's from. But I want to see. Oh, I know it's right there. Yeah, this is from the Melodia is from Clash of Rebellions. I keep forgetting to look at this corner piece. And the sword is from Collector's Pack. And not only is it going to be some nostalgia cred, it's going to be supportive of the new Red Eyes archetype that's coming out in Clash of Rebellion. Well, not new per se, but just new aspects of it. Anyways, must be special summoned by sending a dragon-type monster you control or have in your hand to the graveyard with the Claw of Hermos. Oh, this is Claw of Hermos support. And having a dragon-type monster is going to be exceptionally easy then. Let's see, if this card is special summoned, target one other monster on the field, equip this card to that monster, it gains 1,000 attack. That's awesome. That's like an auto-equip kind of awesome shenanigan thing. And plus 1,000 attack? Brilliant. And if this card was equipped by its own effect, the equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense for each dragon-type monster in both players' graveyards or that they control. What? Well, dragon decks are going to have a lot of fun. And actually, I might use this in... I'm wanting to play the Fang of Critias, Kaiba's card, and use Mirror Force Dragon and all those shenanigans. So just adding a few more dragons into the deck, use Claw of Hermos as well. Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Yep, building the deck. Already decided. So that's Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. I'm quite an awesome effect, actually. Good for it. And here we have some more World Superstars leaks. We have Star Seraph Sovereignty. It's a chair. A fairy-type chair. Let's see. Cannot be used as an Xyz material for an Xyz summon, except for an Xyz monster that uses 3 or more monsters as Xyz material. Well, that's easy. If you normal or special summon a Star Seraph monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, draw a card. Then you can special summon it. Then you can special summon it. Blurry. It sounds like a good card, though. I don't really know how Star Seraphs work, another archetype that I really need to invest some time into researching, but it sounds quite good. Next, we have Earth-Shattering Event. If a card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, target one card in either player's graveyard, shovel it into the deck. Also, neither player can send cards from the deck to the graveyard for the rest of the turn. Let me see. This sounds like a card. Wait, why is this a continuous spell? It could have been any other kind of spell in the world. Or any other kind of card in the world. Why does it specifically have to be a continuous spell if it deals with being sent from the deck to the graveyard? It's kind of a weird effect. I don't know where it will be used. I mean, I could consider it being a sideboard card for any deck that mills itself, maybe. Oh yeah, maybe no, Lighthorn's at the end of turn. Never mind, I have no idea what this card does. There's Legendary Magician of Dark, which is a replica of one of the prize-winning cards of a few years ago. And it's not going to be legal. This card cannot be used in a duel. It's just a promotional value card. Here's a nice old picture of a majority of cards. Good chunk of cards. There's that Door of Destiny again. Chronomaly, Onotopia, and some other interesting aspects. There's the Legendary Dragon of White. We have Ghost Trick, Angel of Mischief. Huh? Ghost Trick are still getting support. Oh god, that's a long effect. 2 level 4 monsters, the Fairy. Excellent. You can also exceed summon this card by using a Ghost Trick exceed monster you control. Blah 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 blah. Other than herself, which makes sense. When the number of Xe materials on this card becomes 10, you win the duel. Ha 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 ha! They made another alternate win condition. I love when they do that in any card game ever. It's quite fun. I enjoy it. And considering this card's effect is completely doable, well, actually, let's see. Well, what's his other effect? Once per turn, you can detach an Xe material from this card, add a Ghost Trick spell trap card from your hand to your deck. Once per turn, you can detach a Ghost Trick card from your hand to this card as an Xe material. Alright, so it can fuel itself. So, you can try to get another Ghost Trick that does other shenanigans. I don't know if they have spell and trap cards that add Xe materials. But now, if there was another card similar to her, now I know why this clause except for her is there. I'm actually quite interested in this card. Not enough to build a deck around it, but enough to see what other people will do. So I applaud you, Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief. You are a mischievous little thing. Humpity Grumpity! That sounds hilarious. It's a zombie, level 3. You can change this card to face down defense position. If this card is flip summoned, it gains 800 attack until end of turn. It's not a card to write home about. I just noticed something. When did they start putting first edition down here? I mean, I literally just noticed that. But it's probably going on. It's probably been going on for a while. I just haven't noticed it. I think that's kind of an awkward spot for it. Even though every other card game that exists put most of their data down here. I mean, there's a perfectly good spot right here that they used to put it on. Oh, you know what? I'm guessing it's because of pendulum monsters. They moved it down here so they could have it down here. All right. And, you know, only noticed that because this card is bad. Don't use this card ever. It's not good. Do not. This is a reprint of Herald. Or is this a reprint? All I know is that I face this all the time on Wygo Pro, and it's a very annoying card. If this is new to the TCG, my god, I am going to hate this. I almost don't want to play anymore. Naturia Gaiastrio. Giant Mega Lion! With the it has a tail flower. And a tree on his back. Sorry. It requires 2 Earth Synchro monsters to fuse with it. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly 1 card on the field and no other cards, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. It's good. It's actually very good. If you combine this with... I think I've used this card before. I've tried to use this card before with the Naturia Exterio. Combine those, have both of those on the field, I think you just win. Jolt Counter. It's a counter spell that during the battle phase, when a spell and trap card... Oh, yeah, it's a battling boxer card. That makes sense. Spell and trap is activated during the battle phase, say Mirror Force, you negate it and destroy it. So awesome. Mirror Force is like one of the... Or Mirror Force and Dimensional Prison were the big ways of trying to get rid of battling boxers. So this is a good card to have. Oh, I recognize this guy. PM Captor. Zombie Pendulum Monster. As a Pendulum Monster, when you Pendulum summon a zombie, you can activate the effect. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. Oh, that's awesome. If this card destroys a monster by battle, you can target 1 Pendulum monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Oh, that's really good, actually. You could reuse Odd Eyes in some decks with this. Oh, is that it? That's all of them? Oh, I was actually getting excited. This Superstar set is sounding like an exceptionally good set. Cards. Oh, look, there's more. Oh no, not more Heraldic Beasts. This is the annoying one that for the Heraldic Beast deck just keeps giving them things. You can discard 1 other Heraldic Beast, special summon this card. Once per turn, you can discard 1 Heraldic Beast. This card gains a counter attack until end of turn. It's really just an engine to all the insanity that they do. Spiritual Whisper. Oh, it's really pretty. A nice, pretty card. Kind of looks like one of those, what are they called? Dreamcatcher. Looks like a Dreamcatcher on his wings. Anyway. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed in battle. When this card is Pendulum summoned, you can add a ritual monster or ritual spell. Ooh! It's ritual support in Pendulums. That sounds really fun. Does it sound plausible? Absolutely. You special summon this, Pendulum summon, and then you ritual summon right after that. That sounds amazing. Of course, then again, it's just really Manju the 10,000 hands again. Let's see, go, Goliath. You're too fuzzy for me to care about. Number 79, Battling Box, Nova Kaiser. Gorilla Kite. Oh, Tuner Monster! I love Tuner Monsters. Let's see, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard and inflict 500 damage to your opponent, you can only use this effect once per turn. Oh, that sounds awesome! And it's a level 4 tuner. And it's 200 defense. And it's a fire attribute. Oh my god, how many... Oh, you can hear the excitement in my voice right now. You can get this with the Flame Veil Dog. Oh, this is going to be amazing. I love synchro summoning more than any other type of summoning in the world. And this is just one exceptionally interesting, good tuner monster for an archetype that I am not sure exists anymore, depending on how many rekindlings you can have. No, I'll look it up later. No, I'll look it up now. Because yes, I have forgotten how many rekindlings you can have in your deck. Last I checked, it was limited. Yep, it's limited in the TCG. So, not as exciting of... we'll get to that. I still think it's amazing, and I'm going to try it. Flowerbot. An earth plant monster that's a robot and a plant. Wait. Now I kind of wish they had dual type monsters. That'd be interesting. Anyway, if it's sent to the graveyard, draw a card, then place a card from your hand on top of your deck. This reminds me of Crystal Seer a little bit. Crystal Seer was a flip effect monster that when you could draw a card, oh no, I think it was draw 2 cards and you either discard 1 card or put 1 at the bottom of your deck. Really kind of like magic-like effect to it. Watt Psychic Fighter. It's a Watt monster and a Psychic monster. Don't know how well it'll fit into Watt strategies, but when this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. Place it on either the top or bottom of their deck. So, Jace the Mind Sculptor. 0 effect. +1 effect. Once. You can only use its effect once per turn, so even if you summon multiples of these, you don't get multiple effects. This would be interesting in a strategy where you could... Yeah, this would be interesting in a strategy where you could return Watt Psychic Fighter to your hand and just continuously annoy them with this effect. Exceed Rapier. So I've seen this guy before, and he has a sword. Sea Magic? Sea Magic the Gathering? Birds can hold swords. I'm talking to you, you stupid, what is it? Back in Zendikar Scar's Standard, where they had the birds that held swords in standard decks, and people were arguing that, oh, how are they able to hold swords? There. That's how they hold swords. Of course, then again, that's a dragon. Kabuki Dragon? Oh, this is a dragon I never heard of. Once per turn, before damage calculation, if your monster attacked an opponent's monster, you can change the battle position of that monster your opponent controls. Once per turn, before damage calculation, if your monster attacked an opponent's monster, you can change the battle position of that monster your opponent controls. So this is before damage calculation. You can switch something to defense position. It's like the opposite of the Karakuris. Okay. Once per turn, before damage calculation, if an opponent's monster attacks your monster, you can... Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. So it's level 6, light, dragon, 23, 21. Decent stats. This looks like a really fun card that I would want to try, but it's probably not going to be successful anywhere. But good for it, though. Humming the Key Djinn, continuing with the Djinn archetype. Target Djinn monster, graveyard, special summon. No. Heavy Knight of the Flame. Oh, a zombie Gemini monster. A friend of mine might like this. Start of the damage step. If this card attacked a special summon monster, you can banish that monster. Ooh! It's like a DD Warrior Lady, in a sense. Only better. I like it. Good for it. Battling Boxer Shadow, continuing the Battling Boxer strategies. Damn, the Superstar set is getting a lot of interesting cards. You can detach... During your main phase, you can detach 1 Exceed from a Battling Boxer Exceed, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Oh, so you can Exceed more. Interesting. Boxer. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! And your silly, weird cards. This card destroys an opponent's monster of battle. Since the graveyard, you can place a counter on this card. You can send this card with 2 or more counters to the graveyard. Special summon Earth monster. Oh, Earth support. This card would be destroyed by battle card if I remove a counter. Interesting. And it's 800 attack, which is a very doable attack to have. Alright, interesting. Oh, and that's it for that. Oh, thank God. I mean, I don't usually read every single card, but all those cards were just that interesting enough for me to want to read. Although my favorite card from that list was definitely the... Actually, I can't remember anymore. But that one zombie, the level 3 one, don't use it. It's bad. Anyway, more info about the 2016 movie. The voice actor is going to... I don't know if you can hear that. Anyway, the voice actor for Yugi is going to be reprising his role, which is awesome. It's going to be a full-length feature movie, so it's going to be closer to an hour and a half. And Kaiba and Yugi get minor redesigns. Oh yeah, they still look similar to their old versions. I think this part of his coat, of Kaiba's coat, is new. That's kind of weird. He also has knee pads. And Yugi looks about the same. And I don't worry about the green color scheme. I really think that's just how the artist interpreted it, or how it was drawn. So it's interesting. All right, no more Yu-Gi-Oh today. Done with Yu-Gi-Oh. Too many cards. So now we're on to feature card, or not feature card, buddy fight. that's after this. Card Fight Vanguard. And we have some more cards from Fighter's Collection. We have, I think, one more card from Ren Suzugamori the Dark. And first off, we have another G unit for Neo Nectar.
I'm so sorry. Can you move into my room because Jim's here to fix the bed?
But I'm in the middle of recording.
He's here and I have
to. One moment while I relocate. Thankfully, you're not viewing me having to relocate. That would be a little awkward.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Mm.
Oh, no, I'm going outside. It's quieter. It's the whole point. It's quiet. Oh, sorry. No. I usually film this outside anyway, but the nephew is here again. Oh, live television, right? All right, now I'm back outside. I can continue what I was doing. And now we're on to Card Fight Vanguard. So, White Lily Musketeer Captain Cecilia. So this is more Musketeer support, which is a big archetype in Neo Nectar. So hopefully it's got a good effect. And looks like it does. You can, once per turn, counterblast 1, choose 2 of your rear guards with Musketeer. It's card name, retire them. So I would assume this would be something that you wait to after you attack with one of your rear guards. If you have a heart card with Cecilia, in its card name, this is a continuing trend with these G units. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to 3 cards with Musketeer from among them, and call them to separate rearguard circles. This is actually an exceptionally good effect. And you don't even have to hit an attack with which that has been a problem with some of these G units that are coming out of Fighters Collection, is that you have to meet a certain criteria that, like, hitting the Vanguard, the opponent's Vanguard, is a little more difficult than just attacking. But this, you don't have to do anything for her effect to be active. You just once per turn, just do it. Just do it. That's a Gintama reference for anyone out there. So overall, I enjoy this card. I think this will be a prime strategy in the Musketeer Neo-Nectar strategies. Next, we have Light Elemental Pika. Wait, really? This is new? Oh yeah, this is new. Look at how adorable it is. I usually don't say that, but, you know, I have to give cuteness credit where it's due. So anyways, it is a Cray Elemental Grade 1, which is a very strange thing to think about. I think this is the first of its kind. It's got a Generation Break effect that... Oh, continuous is that this can be included in any deck, any clan, any nation, anywhere, any way, shape, or form. Although it does disrupt any grade 3s that have the Lord ability, so you gotta be careful about that. When your opponent's unit attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your Vanguards. Like, say, if you have Legion on the field. Choose one of your Vanguards, and if that unit's power is 10,000 or less, that unit gets power plus 1,000 until end of the battle. Oh, okay. So, it's a defensive maneuver. I mean, and now there are airplanes. I'm not sure how heavily used this card will be, again, because of the Lord aspect, but another aspect is, I suppose, if you get to choose one of your Vanguards, then you could just choose the grade 2 of your Legion. But other than that, a lot of the main, I'd have to say a good amount, some of the main grade 3s that would be your Vanguard are of a higher power. So I don't know if this would be that useful. And only adding plus 1,000 isn't that big of a deal. So I don't think it will be used. I think it will, well, I think it's going to be collected the hell out of because of how cute it is, but I don't think it's going to be used. Next we have the Blue Storm Master Dragon, Admiral Maelstrom from Aquaforce, another tier dragon. And he also got a once per turn ability, Counterblast 1, choose face down card from your Z zone, turn it face up. Any of them. So that's good. Oh, here's another one that actually has to hit your opponent. This is what I'm talking about. And it has to be the 4th battle of that turn, which that part of it is easy for Aquaforce to do. If you have a heart card with Maelstrom, pay the cost. If you do, draw a card, choose 3 of your opponent's rear guards. Your opponent chooses one of them for each face-up Blue Storm, Master Dragon, Admiral in your D zone. Oh, interesting. Oh. So, this sounds a little too difficult to me, though. This sounds a little like you're working way too hard for something that you can do just as easily in another clan in a different manner, or just as easily in this deck in a different manner. But for the first time you use this effect, you can retire 1 unit. The second time you use this effect, considering that you flipped up 1 guy before, you do get 3. Because it would be the one that's face up current, there would be 2. You can only really do this effect twice unless you use certain cards, certain of the Sentinels, to flip your units face down. So, I mean, if you're able to get this effect off multiple times, that's amazing, but it seems a little more difficult than you want to be even trying. But would you look at that art, though? Aquaforce does have some fearsome artwork. So next, I kind of can't wait to read this guy. It's Narukami Thunder Dragon, True Brawler, Big Bang Knuckle Turbo. Just having more Big Bang Knuckle attribute cards that I enjoy, and more brawlers too. More brawlers, more Big Bang Knuckles. Kind of one of my favorite archetypes. Can't lie. So he has another once per turn ability. One Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and choose a face down card from your G zone, turn it face up. If you have a heart card with Big Bang Knuckle and its name, until end of turn, this unit gets, when this unit would choose a unit to attack, choose up to 3 of your opponent's units for each of your heart cards instead. Oh, interesting. So what you would do is, considering your Vanguard goes into the heart of the G unit, if you have a Legion unit, you could have 2. Choose up to 3 of your opponent's units for each of your heart cards instead, which means, I wonder if this actually allows you to attack the back row, because that's kind of what I'm reading into this. Because if you have 2 hearts in the soul of this, then you would be able to attack up to 3 of your opponent's units for each of your hearts. So it'd be up to 3 with 1, and then up to 6 with 2. I'm actually quite interested in, and they should come out with an official ruling for this before I jump the gun on it. But if this is able to attack each of your opponent's uses, yeah, I mean, it doesn't say otherwise. Wow, I actually really enjoy this. And then if this unit gets power plus 5,000 for each face-up True Brawler Big Bang Knuckle Turbo in your G-Zone. So that's why you would want to flip G-Zone units face-up. I thoroughly enjoy this card. This will definitely be a Narukami build-around deck that I'll be building. Next, we have a couple of Stranger promo cards. First is Demonic Beast Degoru. It's not exceptionally exciting. It's just a grade 2, Counterblast 2, get power plus 4,000. But what's getting everyone excited is that the more Stranger cards that come out that seem like viably legal, the more likely it is that people will be able to use an Stranger deck. Which, everyone wants to use Spider-Man. The Stranger Spider-Man card that came out forever ago. The other promo card is actually a very good one. It's Golden Knight Garo Show. It's grade 3. Limit Break 4, which is always a good effect. And when it attacks a Vanguard, it gets power plus 5,000. If you have a card named Golden Knight Garo in your soul, this unit gets power plus 1,000. So essentially it gets power plus 6,000. Well, power plus 1,000 all the time, but power plus 6,000 when it goes to attack if you're Limit Break 4. So it's not a bad card. It's definitely... I forget what other grade 3s besides Spider-Man they have for a Stranger, but I don't think it's a build-around. It's more of just an exceptionally good splashable card in a Stranger deck when it exists. I really shouldn't have to talk about this card, but it is a new card to talk about. It's just another critical trigger unit for Shadow Paladin that's coming out of the Dark Ren Suzuki deck. So enjoy. There's not much else I can say about it. Critical triggers are amazing. Awesome, good, cool. Moving on. Next we have they already have enough of these. I'm kidding. I love Gear Chronicle. They should have all of the G units. Anyways, Interdimensional Dragon, Epoch Maker Dragon is his name. And being interesting is his game. It doesn't have a cost for his effects. That's what interests me right away. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you may choose one of your rear guards and bind it face up. So they started binding. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card, call it to rear guard, shuffle your deck. At the end of your turn, put the unit called with this effect on the bottom of your deck. If you put a card on the bottom of your deck this way, choose a card bound with this. Oh, that is a really long way to say You attack with a dude, then you attack with your vanguard, you bind that dude, then you bring on another guy, so you can attack again, and then get your other guy back. It's like blinking in Magic, only really, really extensively long. Okay. And actually, this is almost one sentence, the entire thing. It's not that it's bad. No, it's not bad at all. It could be used quite well. I don't think it's a win more either. It's more of just get more attacks and do awesomely more things. So good for it. And that was it. That was all the cards for Cardfight Vanguard. And I definitely am more and most excited about the Big Bang Knuckler Turbo Narukami G unit. That sounds amazing. So now we have Future Card Buddy Fight cards to talk about. And this is a new flag that supports Star Dragon World. Yes, there is a new world called Star Dragon World that will be popping up, and it will be in the Dragonic Star trial deck, which must have been really just announced because I have not even heard a lick or a hair of this. So yeah, see, it's going to be the third trial deck for the 100 series, which the 100 series has started its anime this past Friday. It's coming out. Oh, it's coming out, let's see, July 10th in the US. So it would be interesting. No monsters revealed for it so far in the trial deck itself, but we do have two Star Dragon World monsters to talk about. First, we have Dragarm's Cavalry. Dragarms. And so just looking at the art, I am a bit confused on what it is. This is a glowing fire face. But continuing, it has a new. Its ability is Cross Knives. Put this card from the field into the soul of a Neo Dragon on your field. This card is in the soul of a Neo Dragon. That Neo Dragon gets Penetrate. All right, so this is kind of. It's almost like it is an aura of Magic in buddy fight form. And giving a unit Penetrate is going to be essentially amazing. And this also kind of reminds me of Zoids, where Zoids, you could have different equipment on the Zoids, and they get power-ups, or any other mech anime that does the same thing. But the Neo Dragon, I believe they want to be talking about the most, is yes, Jackknife is a Neo Dragon now in Star Dragon World. So Star Guardian Jackknife, he's coming out of the Galaxy Burst set. I believe Dragarms is as well. And yeah, he's the only card revealed for Galaxy Burst right now. And Galaxy Burst is coming out July 17th. It's a set after Neo Enforcer. So you pay a gauge to bring him out, which is definitely a good cost for just his size alone. It's a 5,000, 6,000, 3 crit. Really good size for pay 1 gauge. And then when he enters the field, you can put up to 1 monster from your drop zone into this card's soul, which, yeah, that sounds pretty broken. If there's more interesting broken Dragarms type cards with a Neo size that can just upgrade him extensively. Actually, let's go back and look at Dragarms real quick. So yeah, it just has to be in the soul of a Neo Dragon. It doesn't care how it got there. So that's going to be an interesting deck. The more of these Dragarms that come out, the more interesting I think this deck is going to seem. And it's definitely, I'm glad that this has a different sort of strategy than all the other strategies of Worlds out there. That's kind of what's important. Just giving more variety to the game. And I'm just glad that there's another world that there's going to be built around, instead of just adding on to Dragon or adding on to Hero World. Anyway, the next 2 cards are promotional cards that are actually quite good combined together. It's takoyaki loving gal and takoyaki loving drum. And if you've watched the anime, you know why that these cards exist. In the anime, they do enjoy eating takoyaki all the time. It's actually quite hilarious. And their effects are quite good. It's just when either of them are attacking, if you have the other takoyaki loving card on the field with them, and it's Gao is size 1, Drum is size 2, so that you can use them like that. For Gao, you can put the top card of your deck into your gauge, which is always a good effect, and these types of cards almost always see play, even though a majority of the other cards that exist with this type of effect don't have this kind of requirement. And the Drum gets +1 crit when he attacks if takoyaki loving Gao is on the field. And also when he enters the field as well. So with Drum, on the same turn, you could bring him out, he gets 1 crit, and then you attack, and he gets another crit. That sounds insane! And then with Gao, you could... this actually sounds quite amazing. I really do hope the takoyaki-loving Gao and Drum come to the English side, because these sound like really good cards for the strategy. All right, and let's see. Oh, some other announcements are for if you guys haven't seen this yet. This was posted on the 10th, and it is the new format for Hearthstone competitive called Conquest. So instead of last time, where in the format you were using three different decks, and every time you lost, you would switch decks. This time, it's every time you win a game, you switch decks. So you'll see the example here is they're showing off, you can't have more than one of the same class, which is the same as last time. So in a game, if you win, like I'll say the warrior won, you don't use that deck anymore. You move on to the next one. And the other guy can switch decks around if they want. And I think this is actually I think it's better. Because even if you lose, you still get to try with that deck again that you're good with. So I applaud you, Hearthstone. I hope I don't really think you have to change it for next year, but this is actually quite a good format for the World Championship, and I applaud it. And our last bit of news is for Force of Will, which I started covering the news for last week, because apparently it is actually a popular card game. It's just very hard to find. But if you want to play it, there should be local game stores and official distributors that have demo decks for you to try out. So the demo deck box, it comes with 2 decks, or 2 half decks. A half deck box has 3 of one half deck, 3 of another half deck, 3 of one playmat, 3 of another playmat, a rule book, and an actual card. 4 normals and 1 rare. And these should be at LGS, and they came out this past Tuesday on the April 7th. And I'm actually quite excited when I think at least when I go back to Orlando, this should be at one of the LGSs, and I've been dying to learn how to play this. It looks like a fun game. And I just hope that more support for it comes so that it can be just that much more of a good card game. And that's it. That is all the card game news of this week. There's probably more. There's probably more of other card games. And if there's any card game you want me to talk about, leave me a comment, subscribe, follow me. I'll be talking about all of them. I might do a set review for the Sword Art Online set that just came out. And maybe even do some more deck reviews. I don't know. If you have any recommendations of any other types of videos you would like me to show you, I'd be happy to. All right, till next time. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, any of them. I should be doing some more live streaming this week. So that's the end of card game news. I hope you guys have a fun rest of your weekend and some great card pulls.